putting, let's say it's 1440 DPI basically. That's per inch. So that's how many, that's it's putting 1440 instead of 720. So it's a lot finer, so you're going to see the detail, the faults in the print more.
And like even if we use 720, you know, regular inkjet printers, they sometimes we go line banding. Yeah.
We call that banding. That happens if you have a bubble in the cartridge. Okay, that's why we say prime on all the bubbles, because if that bubble comes out, there's going to be that blank that is not going to spray, and then you're going to get a line. If you're nozzle checking with your colors, you're missing a little line, it's not spraying that line, you're going to get a line in your colors. So that's why it's very critical to maintain this machine, because you will see that in the print if it's not well maintained. Also, you can see that if it's dark, if it's just straight for ink, let's say even the magenta. That's another benefit of the bottles against the bags, because if one color drips, let's say like blue's the thinnest ink we have. If that one is starting to drip, you could just lower the amount of ink in the bottle. Okay, so you could take out half an ounce, and you won't affect any of the other colors. Okay, if let's say the magenta is banding, it means maybe that one's starting, but everything else is good. You can put a little bit more magenta in there. Okay, you don't really have to adjust the whole shelf every day or anything like that. You can just adjust it to the color. But you're also gonna, that's why I say prime every morning, especially the fact that you guys have the bottles, you can just put it back in, you're not wasting anything.
Exactly, and that's not possible with the bags.
No.
Both these are advantages of the bottles.
Yeah.
Are there air bubbles in the bags, or there are not, just because of the waste time?
The process of the bags, when we fill them, we have to take out the air bubbles. There are air bubbles in there, we take them out. Can you get air bubbles in them? Yes. Because if the shelf is too low, it will, like this one, it's going to prime it through the head. So you're going to get air bubbles in the book system regardless. Okay, it is sealed. The whole benefit of the bags that they're really trying to sell it for is that it's dust free. Okay, when you open those to put in something, you can get a little piece of dust somewhere. It's not that big of a deal. I've worked here 3.5 years, we've used the bottles, and I haven't seen a problem with them. The negatives to the bags are the fact that when you're priming, you have nowhere to put it. So, that's basically it. That, and the shelf is like this big.
Yeah.
So if you're working in a tight area, it's definitely not ideal.
Thank you very much, Sabina. I really appreciate that, and I apologize if my too many questions I have already. The other thing you're asking is remember the cleaning cartridges. When do you put them in? Like
when you're going on vacation, I was talking to him earlier. So if you're over the weekend, you're fine to keep this in, okay? Because it's only a few days. Now, let's say you guys are going to go to Hawaii for a week. You're not going to be printing. There's no ink fluid going through the capping station, the head, nothing moving. You're going to want to put those in. We give you a bottle of cleaning solution. Okay, it looks like water, it's not water. It's made for this ink to break down this ink and to actually, it doesn't evaporate as quickly. Okay, it's just thicker. Basically, you're going to fill them up with cleaning solution, put them in, you're going to take out a little top, okay, that way it has like airflow, okay? You remember the program, the Epson 2200 adjustment program?
Yeah.
The ink charge, you're going to run ink charges until you see clear coming out of here. Okay, that's going to indicate that the head and the capping station are free of ink. Okay, it doesn't have to be 100% because if you're printing a lot, it's still going to be stained with color. But as long as you see the majority of it is coming out of here, you should be safe to come back after your vacation, put ink in it, and it won't be
10-15 days.
Yes.
But not every day. Like I was another training session, and what he did was he printed 3, 4, 5 t-shirts, and he just, the first thing he did was put out this one, put the cleaning cartridges in at the same time.
Yeah, no. No, you can leave that. If you're going to print it the next day, or even if you're not going to print it today, at least run a head cleaning through it. You're going to want that ink to flow.
Correct. Okay,
because if not, it will set up, it's water-based ink, it evaporates, the water evaporates. So that's why you're going to want to constantly move it through those little holes. Okay, so even if you're around the machine, you just run a head cleaning, you can hold down the ink button, you don't even have to turn on your machine.
Oh, just hold on.
You can press it now.
Like
Hold
this.
it down until it starts doing something. Okay, now it's gonna start doing head cleaning.
Okay,
So-
so that's it. What we need to.
Yeah, as long as you can do that once a day, you should be fine, but make sure to clean it after that. So if you do a head cleaning and know you're about to leave, clean it, because you're still getting ink on that.
I do not touch it.
This stuff.
With the napkin and everything, yeah.
That's at night when we leave.
Yeah. When you're ready to leave the machine, even if you do a head cleaning, because that wiper is wiping it, it's putting ink all around there. So you're not gonna want that to set up. That's basically it.
And all these other, this is of course for the serial one.
Yeah, that's not used. You have a fuse holder. Okay, this comes in handy. Let me explain why. Let's say people that don't maintain it. Okay, if you don't maintain it, or you let's say you're taking it out and you're priming it. If this drips and it hits the ribbon cable and the print head, electricity, water, it sparks. Okay, it blows out a fuse on the main board. Okay, before they used to just replace the main boards because we had no idea what it was. That becomes expensive. We found out it was a fuse that blows. What it does is basically goes through the motions. It looks like it's printing. It comes out, there's nothing printed. So it doesn't spray any ink. Okay? With that, you're probably going to have to change the head of the ribbon cable. You're also going to have to change the fuse. You're going to have to put it's little glass fuses. You get it with your machine. You get like 2 extra, just in case it ever does happen. And you just put it in there and it should work. Okay? So that's what that's for. But besides that, the parallel port and stuff we don't use.
And this is just to get the heat out, right? So
Yeah, that's a heat sink.
I have to make sure this area is fine.
And you said you want to maintain constant temperature. What if we cannot maintain that? The way where we are, I don't think the temperature stays the same.
You just put a dehumidifier, but we can't really regulate the actual temperature.
In the summer it's very hot, especially when there's a heat press in a small room. It does heat up.
I mean, the AC, something like that. If not, you're really gonna have trouble with these ink. Because if it gets hot, this ink is gonna be so thin, and it's just gonna drip everywhere.
So you need to do that.
Or you could have a fan facing the ink or something. Couldn't you? Something aimed at the,
Not cold enough in
for the
summer.
ink. Oh.
Yeah, we say 60 to 70 max. And you're gonna want it there in that range. You would want to probably keep it around 65 room temperature, but
But if it's, okay, it can fluctuate 10 degrees or so.
it can, but you're not gonna want it to be too drastic because these inks are affected by it. Yeah. Especially like, let's say if it goes, let's say you're not in the building, okay, and it drops down. Yeah, and it drops down to 30, and you come back and they put the heat on and it goes up to 70, that's going to affect the ink a lot. Because basically you're taking, let's say, an ice cube, and you're putting it in a hot room, it's going to melt. So it's going to be even that much worse. So that's why we say keep it regulated. Even if you're going to keep it at a constant 60, at least keep it at a constant 60. And you can set up your machine for that degrees of weather, you can set up your shelf, you know, but you got to keep it as constant as possible.